Welcome back to the deep dive. We're all working hard getting ready for those UPSC Mains exams. And today we're diving into something that's super important for the environment and could be a goldmine for your exams too. India's forests.
Oh, yeah.
We're going deep with the India State of Forest Report 2023. And let me tell you, it is packed with insights you don't want to miss.
Yeah, what's really cool about this report is that it goes way beyond just thinking about those thick jungles. It
Yeah.
shows us the whole green picture of India, even places that aren't officially labeled as forests.
Exactly. Which brings us to a really important difference. Forest cover versus tree cover.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Forest cover is like the VIP section of the Green Club.
Uh-huh.
You got to have a certain number of trees to get in.
Right.
But even outside that VIP area, you've got trees hanging out, adding to the green vibes. That's tree cover.
Right, and they both matter.
Absolutely.
The report says that India's total forest and tree cover together is actually better than the entire country of Turkey. That's a lot of green, and it's actually grown since the last report. We're talking 1,445 square kilometers more. That's almost twice the size of Delhi.
Now, UPSC folks, this is where you got to start thinking critically. What's making this increase happen? Is it just those government programs planting trees, or is there something else going on? This report gives you the data, but you got to be the detectives and figure it out.
Exactly. And don't forget about the states. Some states are like the green superstars.
Yeah.
Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, and Odisha, they've all had awesome increases in both forest and tree cover.
It's really interesting to see how each state is tackling this. Chhattisgarh added a crazy 684 square kilometers,
Right.
while Uttar Pradesh and Odisha both added $559. What are they doing that others can learn from? These are the questions you got to be asking as you prep for those exams.
For sure. And if we just look at forest cover alone, Mizoram is the champ. They added 242 square kilometers, almost the size of Mumbai. Gujarat and Odisha are doing great too.
Speaking of champions, 19 states and union territories in India have more than 33% of their area covered in forest. And then you've got places like Mizoram, like Lakshadweep, and Arunachal Pradesh with over 75% forest cover. What's their secret? Is it just where they are, or do they have awesome policies, or both?
It's probably a mix of things. You can't forget about the local communities, especially in tribal areas. They've been protecting these forests for a long time using their traditional knowledge and practices. This is something really important to remember, especially for the UPSC exams. The role of indigenous communities in keeping those forests healthy comes up a lot.
That's a really great point. And this report doesn't just count trees. It looks at specific ecosystems too, like mangroves, which are so important for protecting our coasts and for all the different plants and animals that live there.
Mangroves are amazing. They can handle those tough, salty environments, and they're home to so many species. They're natural shields against coastal erosion. They're super important for keeping our coastlines healthy.
And India has a lot of mangroves, 4,992 square kilometers. We're also seeing a big jump in areas with bamboo, which is awesome because bamboo is such a useful and sustainable resource.
Yeah, definitely.
It grows so fast, and you can use it for so many things, like building furniture, even clothes. It's also a big help in fighting climate change by capturing carbon.
Bamboo is like nature's superhero. It
Yeah.
grows so fast and it's super versatile. You can use it for everything, building furniture, even clothes. And it's a climate change fighter too because it's really good at capturing carbon.
Which brings us to our next topic, India's forests as climate warriors. They're like these giant sponges soaking up carbon dioxide from the air.
Exactly. And the report actually says that India has done even better than it promised when it comes to capturing carbon. It's like going above and beyond to fight climate change.
All right, UPSC peeps, listen up. This is important. You got to understand these NDC's nationally determined contributions and how India is doing when it comes to its promises about climate change.
Yeah, basically, NDCs are each country's plan to reduce those greenhouse gases and deal with climate change. It's all part of the Paris Agreement. India doing better than its target shows it's serious about tackling climate change.
Okay, but let's be real. What are some of the things that are threatening India's forests? This report talks about some serious issues, and you got to know about them for the UPSC.
One big problem is people encroaching on forests. With more people and everyone needing land, it puts a lot of pressure on forests. And then there's illegal logging and those devastating forest fires. All of that leads to deforestation and destroys the homes of so many plants and animals.
And we can't forget about climate change itself.
Right.
We're seeing more and more crazy weather like droughts and floods, which can really hurt forests and mess up those delicate ecosystems. It's complicated stuff with no easy answers, but understanding it is super important if you want to make a difference in India's environmental policies.
Totally. The India State of Forest report gives us all this valuable information that can help people make smart decisions about protecting forests and managing them sustainably.
Like, for example, the report's findings on how forest cover is changing can help us pinpoint those areas that need help right away. And the data on carbon sequestration can guide policies to fight climate change. Connecting this report to India's bigger environmental plans, like the National Forest Policy and the National Action Plan on Climate Change, is crucial for really understanding the whole picture.
Another thing the report highlights is the money-making potential of forests. It reminds us that they're not just good for the environment, but they can also boost the economy, especially in rural areas.
It's all about finding that balance between protecting nature and growing the economy. Think about all the people whose jobs depend on forests. Timber production, collecting things like medicinal plants and honey ecotourism. It's a whole world of opportunities.
And as we try to build a more sustainable future, we gotta recognize the economic value of forests and support those businesses that are working with forests in a sustainable way.
This report really stresses how important technology is for managing forests. The Forest Survey of India is using real-time fire alerts and forest fire services to protect these precious resources.
Technology is like a superpower for keeping an eye on the health of our forests. It can help stop illegal activities and respond quickly to threats like those scary forest fires. It's awesome to see that India is using these advancements.
Before we wrap up this section, I gotta say, if you're serious about the UPSC, this report is a must-read. It's full of amazing information, and understanding it can really give you an edge in your exams.
It's not just about memorizing facts and figures. It's about really thinking about the trends, understanding the challenges, and connecting the dots between forest conservation, sustainable development, and India's environmental policies.
Remember, you're not just trying to pass an exam. You're preparing to be the leaders of tomorrow who can build a more sustainable India. This report gives you the knowledge and the insights to do just that. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the good stuff happening in India's forests and the challenges they're facing. But I want to get personal for a minute. We've talked about government policies and fancy technology, but what about us regular folks? What can we do to help protect our forests?
That's the big question, right? Taking care of our forests is a team effort, and it starts with each of us making smart choices every day.
Exactly. It can seem like a huge problem, but even little things can make a difference, like being aware of what we buy and how much we waste. Choosing sustainable products, supporting businesses that care about the environment, those are all steps in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget about learning and teaching others. Learning why forests are so important,
Right.
understanding the dangers they face, and then talking to other people about it. That can really make a difference.
And for all you future UPSC superstars out there, remember, just knowing about these problems isn't enough.
Yeah.
You got to use what you learn to actually make a difference in the real world.
Exactly. Think of yourselves as the people who are going to be making those policies and decisions in the future. You're the ones who can create a more sustainable India. And this report gives you the tools to do it.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into India's forests, I want to leave you with one last thought. Imagine a future where India's forests aren't just these beautiful places full of life, but they're also helping us grow sustainably, supporting people's livelihoods, fighting climate change, and inspiring the whole world.
It's a future worth fighting for. And if we all work together and use what we know, we can make it happen.
Absolutely. A huge thanks to our expert for sharing their incredible knowledge with us today. We hope this deep dive has given you a solid understanding of India's forests and why they're so crucial for our future.
It was my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, if you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like. We'll be back with more episodes tackling those important topics you need to know for the UPSC exams. So until next time, happy studying and keep those brains sharp.